And we've been sitting here laughing already and giggling, so you're going to have to forgive us because that's kind of what this will be from time to time. So if you guys don't know Rachael, Rachael is one of my favorite people on
You
the
might
planet.
not recognize me. I don't have mini ears on this week.
Well, there we go.
So
we have
I am Rachael. I just don't have them on.
face recognition moment here. But Rachael is one of my favorite people on the face of the planet, and we always find the opportunity to have a good laugh, a good belly laugh. And so this is a new segment that we've only done one before this. Yeah. This is our second flight. Woo. And you may not, there's many things to know about Rachael, but one of the things about her is that she's a maker. That's the phrase to use, right?
That's what I use. Some people say they're a crafter, or I say I'm a maker because crafting, I don't know why, I just like it better because I make all the things. If I see something and I'm like, oh, that's a cool plate, I'm going to figure out how to whittle it out of glass pieces. At 3 o'clock in the morning, it's true.
With found glass pieces from beach glass.
That is true.
Sea glass is what they call it, right? Yes. No, she will do that. She's very clever, very creative, and amazing. And so we love that about her, but she's also somebody who enjoys life to the fullest, that you find joy in almost all things.
Everything.
So I love that about, and you're
Or when we were on Molokai last year for Christmas and they had put joy up in their window, they put the J backwards, so we found Loy.
Loy, all right.
We had Loy.
Loy, much Loy. And one of the things that you love are the holidays.
Yes, I mean, I don't know if you probably can't see it, but I have Christmas Crocs on. It's November 1st to me is the first day of Christmas, okay? I am thankful. I love Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for Christmas. And I'll celebrate Christmas up till that week of Thanksgiving. And I'm like, okay, turkey, Christmas to me, it's my jam. It's my favorite. I love it so much.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It brings me all the joy.
So, in fact, you've been posting videos that are hilarious. If you don't follow her, you should. Where should they follow you?
I am on Instagram. My personal Instagram is Disney Bird, because Disney and bird. And then on Small Kitchen Big Flavor is the site, the Instagram that I have for food. And then I also have Some Imagination Creations, and that's for the things that I make, like shirts and hats and crafts and all the little fun things that I like to make. So I have Disney Bird is my daily life. And then Some Imagination Creations is the things that I like to make and create for people. Some people will say, hey, I'm having a party. Can you help me theme it? And I'm like, sure.
I might know someone who did that recently.
I know too. And then Small Kitchen Big Flavor is definitely my food one. And actually, both of the things that we're going to make here today are on Small Kitchen Big Flavor.
There we go. So tell us because we're going to be doing it while you guys are watching and while we're talking. Because, I think one of my favorite things is when you get together with some of your good girlfriends and you're doing something, like it used to be that people would be in the kitchen and preparing a meal together, and the mom and the aunts and would be in there and you'd be having the conversation. I love it when we get together and we have something to do instead of just sit there. Because I have to have something going on. So what are we going to be doing today, Miss Rachael?
We are going to be doing two different things. We're doing something Thanksgiving-y and something Christmassy. So the Thanksgiving-y is Shannon is going to make a turkey out of vegetables. So she's going to take a bunch of celery and endive and all kinds of cucumbers and tomatoes, and she's going to make a turkey. And I'm going to take other things, charcuteries, or I just started seeing, have you seen the butter boards?
No.
Okay, so they have these things now where you take a board and you smear butter on them. Some people do butter on the whole thing with a little bit of salt and pepper and rosemary. I've seen now dessert ones where they do Nutella with stuff, and then you take bread and you into it. I'd never seen that, and I thought that was, whoa. Okay, so they have all different, but I'm still a charcuterie girl. I have yet to do a butter board, but I'm gonna do a Christmas-themed mini charcuterie.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. So I have pre-bagged everything for Shannon, cut the vegetables, got it all ready. She's a picture of what it's supposed to look like.
I do.
If you need direction, I'm here.
I will. And one of the things, she's done what you could do for your kids to make it super easy. Because there are many different phases of this, but last night you cut up all the vegetables but then she numbered, I don't know if you can see, there's a number 2 on this to tell me that this is the thing that I will open second to
Right.
put on the tray. And you could do this with your kiddos so that you could do all the prep, because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed. It's like, let's take the kids into the kitchen and have them make a
And then you're
wonderful-
trying to cut,
Right.
and then it's knife skills and fork skills, and I even tried using the pumpkin, you know, those kid-safe pumpkin carvers to do vegetables, and it was just too much.
Right.
And then I got one of those things that you hold down the vegetables so he could try to do it. Then he's trying to do it with a butter knife, and sometimes it's a lot, and then you're trying to manage it all. So for me, this was a very big thing, and I actually even did this with my son Kobe when he was old enough to start microwaving his own food. I would make things, or if I was at work and he was at home, I would make meals and put them in little glass containers, and on the lid I would take the surgical tape or the medical tape that comes off, and you could do painter's tape too, and I would put it on the top and I'd say microwave for 3 minutes without lid on. And he was able to do that. And that was one of the little independents. I would just have him come and I'd say, push the start button, push the start button. Then it would be like, now you put it in, but make sure the lid's off. And every single time I still do this. There's not a fork in it. He's like, Mom, there's never been a fork in it. But I'm always like, you didn't put a spoon, there's no metal. He's like, no, Mom. Is the lid on it? No. So, but I would write that, just, I forget sometimes. I mean, I've never microwaved a fork, but you know.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you
So,
see.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fireworks, 4th of July. Woohoo!
But so these are the kinds of things that you can do is, even with a craft or something that you're making for the holidays, you can pre-bag things. You know, maybe when you're watching TV at night or you're doing something, or if you have downtime, I know a lot of us don't, but like, you can pre-do some of these things, pre-bag them, put them together for Christmas stuff. You could do a wreath with your kids. And as you get it, you just put it, so it's like, okay, where's the number 1? Because then it's also numbers, or you can maybe spell a word, or have each kid have their own bag, or individual, or whoever wants to do it.
It just makes it easier. You can keep a handle on things so that it doesn't become overwhelming for you and it doesn't become overwhelming for the kiddos, and then you ultimately get to success. So we're going to go ahead and start.
Okay.
And tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
So I'm going to make a snowman, and I'm going to make a snowman out of, so everything that we're going to be doing is gluten-free, dairy-free. But what I've seen the snowman, and I've actually done this before, I have a snowman that I did with a brie and a boursin and another round cheese. You put them together and then you make a snowman out of it, and then you put a bunch of different little snacks and stuff, which I have to do today. But what we're going to do is, I decided to do mine totally dairy free, and so if you don't have a wheel cheese or something like that, this is the best thing. Boursin has a dairy-free cheese. It's vegan, it's gluten-free.
It's really good.
It smells just like the Boursin. But what I wanted to tell people is, there's sometimes, like, there are things that we can do. If you want to pull something out and use this as a kind of a fun a shape or something, you use a cookie cutter, or you can just take a cup and you can use the cup and you just press down and pull out. I mean, yes.
Show what you're doing here.
So,
No, you're fine.
Oh, I mean, okay. So you put the Boursin in. It's going to look a little messy right now, but once you get on the plate, you're just going to take your knife, you're going to put it around like this, and you're going to pull out the shape that you've just done. At home, I actually do this with a kind of a plastic cup, but see how now it's come into that smaller circle? I'm going to make it look a lot prettier, I promise. But that's something that you can do, and that's a way just to get, if you need a shape or you need something. I was going to do a cookie cutter so I can show you, because I would have a Mickey Mouse at home. But so if you just want to do a little shape, you can do it like that. I mean, I know typically you could just pull it out of this this Boursin container, but you know, and then you can just kind of go around the edges and make it a little prettier, or pretty it up.
And I want to show, so I've started with the endive, endive, I don't know what we're calling it, putting it around the edges here. Sorry, my camera shot's a little shaky because that's me. Oh, but we're getting a lovely picture of your Crocs.
Oh,
now.
my little.
There are her Santa Crocs. Okay, let's go back to the other shot, and we're getting a little bit of glare there. But let's go back to the other shot, because I'm going to put this one down, Traven, so that because I can't do both with the. There we go. So I'm just laying down, because And in the picture that we have, they had like some kind of leafy green
It was
lettuce.
just, that was the one that I made. It was just romaine. So
great.
it was just big pieces of romaine. And when we were shopping last night, I was like, oh, let's do something colorful.
Yeah.
And so that's the turkey's outside feathers, right? So you could, feather it up.
And I'm going to put the red ones at the top because that's what I want to do.
At home, I usually have a big bowl to throw all my stuff in. So I'm sorry, guys, if you're seeing all the little, I'm going to take a little taste.
If you were looking for Martha Stewart, we're not doing that here.
Yeah. And you always say, oh, Rachel's like Martha Stewart. I'm like,
But better.
So so the next thing I'm doing, like I said, you could do the 3 cheeses. You could also do 3 dips, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm actually doing the boursin, which can be like a dip, and then I'm going to do this vegan feta cheese, and I'm going to use a smaller cup to go and get the piece of feta and get that out.
I should be showing what
So this one might be, the cheese was a little soft on the boursin. So typically if you did the boursin, it wouldn't crumble like it crumbled earlier. And like I said, if you have like a silicone cup or a plastic cup at home, which is what I usually use, you can just pop it out a lot easier. So
it's a good time.
it's a good time.
It's stuck in the glass.
It's stuck in the glass, but we will be fine.
You'll see it in a minute.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, here's what I love about this, you guys. If you're not making food fun, you're missing an opportunity with your kiddos,
for real.
right? And this because one of the things that we wanted to talk today about is holiday traditions and how we include our kids in holiday traditions, but also, I don't know how everybody else feels, and you say what you want to say, Rachel, but I remember when my son was first diagnosed with autism, that when the holidays rolled around, I couldn't just automate the things that I had done before, and I got sad about it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, we're not going to have what other people have tradition-wise. And I loved that I was around people who were a little bit further along the path than I was, who were like, make new traditions.
Right.
And find what the important part of the tradition is and include him in that.
Yep.
Like, don't send them to another room while you're decorating the tree. If they don't like decorating the tree, then what part of it might they like?
Right. So listen, I have a little bit of a, especially with the Christmas tree, I like things the way I like things. My son likes to say I have a little bit of OCD. He said he says OCD minor, but sometimes major. And just because he knows, and this actually started, I'm just holding some prosciutto here. So what happened with Kobe is that I would start putting something in the same place every time. And this is where it goes, because for him, creating that habit was what was great for him. So he knows, typically you've got your silverware drawer and you've got your spoons, your forks, your knives. He would put all the spoons in one thing, and I said, Kobe, there's teaspoons and tablespoons. And then we had to go through that, and I said, the teaspoons go here. I also made on a placemat when I was trying to teach him how to set the table, I made one placemat that with a Sharpie marker, I said plate, cup, fork, knife. So there's a lot of things in life, like these numbered bags, that I kind of had to set up in ways to help him be able to succeed and be independent. And it's little steps each time. So some of that kind of, everything goes the same place every time was because I wanted to make sure he had access and it was in the same place for him every time too. So.
Well, you're one of the most organized people I know. I, on the other hand, I can come over and organize you.
Right.
Like I used to do that for people, but I cannot organize myself. That isn't happening.
Right.
So is this making you a little OCD the way
I'm not even, you know what? If I was, this is the thing, if I was making it, I would have massive OCD, but because I'm not.
Yeah.
And you're going to rock it.
I just realized that because a lot of this is green and we have green screen, it's showing up as a different color.
That's hysterical.
I didn't think about that. But I'm going to show this to you. Now see, here, I told her, no, I'm going to remember from the picture.
I said.
But it's so good that she numbered things because I've put the celery on now. I don't know if you guys can see in this shot. I put the celery on. It looks like a hot mess. And it does look black because of the.
That's hysterical because of the green.
That's hysterical because of the green. But that's a bunch of celery. It looks like a seafood dish, but it's not. It looks like we're serving black squid. There we go. Traven got it there. Yay. So that's what it really looks like. and it looks like a hot mess, but I'm gonna make it look better. And let me shoot over here so that you can see what Rachel's got going on. It's shaping up
So
nicely.
I've got a little bit of a snowman. Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
So I've got a little bit of a snowman here. So we've got hummus on the bottom. We've got the boursin, and then we've got the feta cheese. There's a little piece of lettuce on dive here on the iPad. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking some currants. I'm going to take a little carrot. I took 2 pieces of rosemary. I call myself a apartment farmer because I grow some herbs in my windowsill. And so I had some fresh rosemary, but you can get something like this at Trader Joe's. And then I had a little pack of currants. This is prosciutto. So the prosciutto is the scarf. Can you guys tell he's a snowman? But this is 3 different things. You've got a vegan feta, you've got the boursin, and you've got the hummus. And so this is where my guy's coming. He still needs a nose and a face, and he's Frosty the Cheese Man. So I'm gonna, do I hand this back to you?
You can hand it back to me.
There you go. And let's see Shannon's.
And I'm continuing with my hot mess, but it's getting more colorful here.
The Hot Mess Express.
The Hot Mess Express. But you know, listen, part of the fun I think is when it looks a little bit different. In my house, that's what we laugh hysterically over. We love those shows where somebody
nailed it or
nailed
whatever.
it, and somebody makes a craft and
Oh.
it looks like Snoopy's been punched in the face, and we can sit and laugh over that.
See, I can't
That's
watch
a good
Nailed
time.
It. I try.
Oh, I'm sure,
But
you would
because
just
for
win it
me,
every
I'm like,
time.
oh no, come on,
Just
oh.
shove that over. You would know exactly. You should go on that show.
Oh no.
And win
No,
tons
because
of
I
money.
think the point is they're not supposed to be great at it, right?
I do think that's the enjoyment part for my
Yes.
family is that we laugh hysterically at what somebody thought was and I'm not going to do much better here. But
You're doing great. Look
but
at
it's
it.
fun and we're having a good time. And imagine if you're doing this with your children.
Right.
It normalizes food in a way that just talking about food can't. And, you know, I always like to say here, teach our kids to eat the rainbow.
Yep.
And you can't teach them how to eat the rainbow if they're not touching it.
Right.
And I love to take it from gardening. And like you said, you can do it in your apartment.
Yep.
In kindergarten classes, they grow beans.
I mean, I
every
do
year.
that. I just interrupted you. How rude am I?
No.
I literally just did a huge jar of alfalfa sprouts in my apartment. They were in my windowsill. It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
I'm checking my numbers here. I can count.
Well, and the thing is, that's the other thing. It's numbered, but if 4 goes before 5, that's okay.
Yeah, it is. Life
It's
goes
totally
on, right?
okay. It's totally good.
Goes on.
Yeah, you're good to go.
I'm having a good time.
Are you having a good time?
Yeah. So, what's your favorite tradition that your family likes to do for Thanksgiving and Christmas, Rachel?
So for me, I love a turkey. I'm very, this year we said, my family said, well, let's do something different for Thanksgiving. Let's do a roast. And I went, no, I have to have a turkey.
Right.
Not a ham, turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, all of that stuff. On Thanksgiving, I have to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That means Christmas has started.
Okay.
Even though season starts November 1st for me. I mean, I've been listening to Christmas music since Christmas in July, but for me, I mean, it's true. You know it. Like, but the thing is Christmas Vacation. I used to watch Elf, but that's my Thanksgiving day. Is after Christmas Vacation has to come on. It's my favorite. It makes me laugh. Actually, last night, funny story. My son, we were having sushi at home, and he was saying something, but he was turned away. And sometimes he muffles, muddles, talks,
Right.
you know, we're fast talkers. And I just couldn't say, and I said, I just don't understand what you're saying. And he looked at me and he was trying to say quinoa, which is a sushi place we were at in Toronto, and he went, quinoa, like the blessing from Christmas Vacation. And he's never done that before. And I laughed for, an hour. I laughed till I cried. And he was the blessing because he knows that movie so well because we watch it every Thanksgiving.
I don't know that I've watched it in 30 years.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. You have to, I am going to task you this year to watch it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Oh, I love your heirloom colored.
So I love these heirloom tomatoes. I just pop them like grapes.
Did you get those at Trader Joe's last night?
I had these.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't see you pick those up.
No, because I had them.
They look lovely.
I'm just decorating my snowmans.
They're sort of green, sort of red. They're very fall colors.
Right, which is super fun.
Well, in a minute here, I'm going to show you guys, and you're going to go, what on earth? I covered
It's
his
so
feet.
cute.
I covered his feet. His feet were down there, and then I covered them.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, crap.
I
no.
think he'll
I
forgive
gotta find
you.
his feet. You can't have feet at the bottom.
Oops.
All right, stop it.
I think he will 100% forgive you.
I've got to, it's like I'm going into the turkey's private parts to bring out his feet. Okay. It's like he just had a pap smear.
I haven't slept. Oh, there goes the story. I haven't slept in a day. And Shannon says, oh, that's going to be great because we're just going to be giddy.
Yes.
She asked me a question earlier and I just went blink, blink,
But this
blink.
this is what we do. We were at the store last night getting this stuff, and my husband was there with us. And I think sometimes he just looks at the two of us like, what on earth?
Yep.
And so, can I tell the Bombas story?
Of course.
So we're looking at things, and Rachel said, "Oh, look, they have Bombas," and she said, "Oh, but it's the ones that have dairy in them." And I've never heard of a Bomba. Don't know what a Bomba is. Whatever.
Just so you know, Bomba is it's a peanut butter puffed corn snack. And I said it just like that to Shannon. I said, pointing at the bag, reading exactly what it said. It's a peanut butter puffed corn snack. And she went, blink, blink.
But she said it as if we have. It was like you were saying it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like it's something we all have all the time. She's like, it's a peanut butter puff with chocolate on it. It's a Bomba. And I said, yeah, you're speaking a different language to me. You might as well be speaking Starbucks to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. And so she went, it's a peanut butter. Because, that's what it is. But I was trying to say to her, I've never heard of such a thing before in all my existence. And then we just started to laugh in the frozen food section.
And Jim, Shannon's husband, was like,
Okay.
Sure.
You're a little punch drunk here. And there was no drinking happening.
No.
Do you want to show, while I'm finishing mine up, do you want to show yours?
Okay.
Okay, so that
Wait,
oh, did it go
There we
off?
go. No.
Okay.
So what I did was, here's my little snowman. He is, the top is vegan feta cheese. Should I turn it, if I turn it to this? Okay, wait, I'm going to figure this out, friends. There we go. Oops, now my fingers are there. I am so sorry. I've got to figure, okay. There we go. So what I did was I put a bunch of food around it for the dips, right? So you can put crackers, and you can put tomatoes, and you can put blueberries and nuts. I put the ginormous corn nuts. These are all gluten-free and dairy-free. So what I usually do is put this on a big plate, and I put all the vegetables that Shannon has over there. Oh, are you trying to put eyes on your turkey?
I'm putting eyes on my
Oh
turkey.
my gosh, you're the best.
And it is like a horror story over here. It is American
But
Horror
you can
Story
really
right
put anything on this tray. If you just want vegetables, when I do it, I usually do things like.
Is that garlic you have there? Like
no, that's
garlic?
those are the big corn nuts.
Oh,
So
it looks like
I have
roasted garlic.
these paleo snacks. So I put some of that there. I'll put carrots and celery and everything around them. Sometimes I'll actually make a little Christmas tree with broccoli. But this is Mr. Snowman. And there were 2 little pieces of rosemary, made his face with a little piece of a carrot and blueberries and cranberries, some little currant. So this is my little snowman. So my
cute.
small kitchen, big flavor cooking segment this week is Shannon and I making these holiday accoutrements. Is that a word?
Accoutrement.
No. Okay, I'm going to hand this over to you.
Oh, I have my hands full. You can't hand it over to me just yet. Hang on a second. I gotta.
That's a cute turkey.
It's so cute. You did such a good job.
Oh.
And this is like, she did it right there in front of you guys' eyes. That's like magicness there. And I have a bunch more of cucumbers left.
Oh, great.
I have extra.
That's the thing, is you can use these. Okay, so the thing that I talked about last week was scraps and stuff like that. Or last time we all met, I talked about saving scraps from vegetables to make broth. And something like this, or a fruit tray that you have, the vegetables from this tray, you wouldn't use the the cucumbers to freeze them. So anytime I cut vegetables, things like the celery, the carrots, the bell peppers, I don't use zucchini, the tomatoes, I freeze those and I put those in a Ziploc bag in the freezer, and then I throw everything in a pot, cover it with water, throw in a couple bay leaves, and let it cook for a while. And then I look through my icebox to see if there's anything else. Oh.
So what you see on the one
is his waddle upside. He's so cute.
So on the one side you see what Rachel did, and here's mine.
That's the best.
Here's a live shot of mine.
Look how good it is.
Now I put his waddle on his head, but apparently it's supposed to go lower.
Oh, he's so cute though.
He looks like he had a car accident. But so now what I would love is if you like just do what you would do to this to make it look better. To zhuzh him.
Here, let's switch.
Because, but how cute is your snowman?
I'll switch.
And I love this. Okay, it's heavier than I thought. Okay. So let's talk about this for just a second.
Okay.
I love the rosemary.
Little arms, right?
Arms.
And if
That
you
is
put, so usually I
precious.
put him on this tray that the turkey's on. I say usually, I've done them a few times. But so then you could put all the vegetables around him. You could even make a Christmas scene. You could do cauliflower on the bottom for rice, and you can do some little broccoli to make a Christmas tree, and carrots and all that stuff. Strawberries, you could do something like that, which is super cute and super fun. You could just do the head of a snowman
I
with
love
the face.
this. I'm making this.
It's cute,
this year.
right?
Because I'll tell you what, this is the kind of thing that Jem would just love, because he would want to try all three of the
Right.
different dips, and the fact that they're all dairy-free.
And gluten-free
and
and-
gluten-free and fabulousness. And of course, he would want the prosciutto scarf.
Right.
But I could have sworn those look like those Inca corns.
Yes.
They look like.
I just call them giant corn nuts. They're Inca corns.
But they look like.
Garlic.
They look like roasted garlic.
Yes.
And what is on the other side? Banana chips.
Blueberries. The banana chips is a paleo mix that it's like a little snack that I keep. That's just kind of a.
I want to show these.
Thrive Market.
'cause
There's
she
a bunch of
always
different
knows-
flavors. They're.
Oh, you do Thrive too? I didn't know you did that.
I think someone gave those to me a while back, and then I
do
just
Thrive. Why
started.
is it not showing that?
You have to camera
Oh,
angle it.
that's
Yeah.
There we go. So Thrive Market non-GMO paleo snack mix, gluten-free, vegan, grain-free. There we go. Oh, and it's got nuts in it too.
I think yours is going to look better than mine.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And this is the Trader Joe's giant Peruvian Inca corn from Trader Joe's. That's what that is.
Yes.
And then I want to show the little
Tomatoes?
crackers.
The crackers are
Did
over
we
here.
Did we throw the bag away already? Okay. This is the original. Wait.
And if anybody ever has questions about gluten-free food and stuff like that from Trader Joe's or from anywhere, just don't hesitate to reach out, and you can message us here in the chat, and Shannon can respond, or you can message us and Shannon can ask me, because there's so many things, like even just Shannon and I yesterday with the Bomba, or we talk about things like that, about
I had no idea.
yeah, about kind of how or what you would use. I just changed him around a little bit. He still looks amazing.
He looks so much better now than he looked before. But how much fun would that be to do with your kiddos, either one of these, and then you serve it and everybody's happy, and then your child, you get to say, and they helped, and your child
Well,
gets
and
to
the
say
thing,
that they
yeah,
helped.
the thing with all of these, they can dip this in the snowman's hummus,
No kidding.
right? Like,
Sounds entirely wrong. But that's good. But, really incredible. And then Rachel has gave some other suggestions for other things that you could do. There were 2 different Christmas trees, too.
yes. So one of the Christmas trees is broccoli. It's just a broccoli Christmas tree. You lay the broccoli down on the platter, and then I think out of a yellow, yep, there you go. Out of a yellow bell pepper, I cut out a little star, and then did the Christmas lights, and then I used some pomegranate seeds, some green beans at the bottom, some cauliflower, and then I think after I actually put dips all around this. Like you put a ranch dip, you can do all that stuff, and they do have vegan ranch. Daya has a vegan ranch, and
know, it's not
actually, we're just going to do an ad for Trader Joe's today. Trader Joe's dipping sauces. They're garlic. They're vegan tzatziki. Tzatziki.
Yeah.
Tzatziki.
Tzatziki.
Did I say that?
I think you're
Tzatziki. They have a vegan caramelized onion dip.
Yeah.
It's so good. So they have all these dips.
There's
and
another one. Have you tried the non-chicken buffalo ranch vegan one?
No.
It's really good.
That sounds lovely. But they have all of these things. And okay, so I keep saying vegan, but I have prosciutto and all this other stuff. There are people obviously who are vegan, but I usually look for vegan cheeses because those are non-dairy cheeses.
Right.
And it will guarantee, well, for the most part, that they are a vegan cheese. Because they, vegan, they don't have the dairy.
Right.
But they have so many options. And somewhere, I know a lot of things aren't accessible, sometimes Whole Foods or, Erewhon or whatever, that is. But Trader Joe's are a lot of places.
Yeah.
And Trader Joe's have so many vegan dips and sauces and cheeses that you can get. And again, if you have questions or say, my kid likes this, what's an alternative? Because that's what I've done for the last now 15 years is find an alternative for everything that would be like something that someone that wasn't gluten-free, dairy-free would have. And Kobe chooses, we've talked about, he's tried foods, he's still very sick when he eats them. And so he realizes like this is how his life is. Yeah. And he loves it. I mean, he's like,
Whereas Jem is now starting to off-road a little bit, and he will, if he's out, he'll enjoy a little bit of something. But then he reverts back to the other because he's like, it's sort of, like how I think most people are with sugar and alcohol. It's like, well, I'm not going to have that at every meal. It's not going to be good for me at every meal, but occasionally I can have it if I have it in moderation. Yeah. So, I can't eat that way. Right. That's not a possibility for me. So I love these, and now I'm hungry. I just want to snack.
Do you want a celery stick?
I'm going to have a cucumber. But this is lovely. This is really, really lovely. So thank you for helping us to do these. And then I had another, I don't know if I sent it to you, Traven, there was another Christmas tree that I think had fruit in it.
Oh.
I don't know if I sent that to you or not. But the truth is you could do it with almost anything.
Anything. So this one, how easy is that? Look, you've got olives, peppers, broccoli, grapes, tomatoes, raspberries, strawberries, the cucumbers, and grapes. But you can literally do anything because all the little layers are, and I think for this one what I did after is I put, salami and nuts and, it's just fun. Actually, same plate.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. You can do so many variations. If your kids, I know some of our kids don't eat green foods or orange foods. You can just say, okay, and when it's the shape of a Christmas tree, it's so much fun.
Well, and you could really say, depending on what you're working on in your home, but, I remember when we were working on colors.
Right.
That would have been a great time to go to the grocery store, and that's not when you go to the grocery store when you're in a hurry. You take a little bit of time. And so we went to the grocery store and I said, okay, we're on a mission. We have to find this many colors. Yeah. And I didn't even tell him what for, but we have to find and then it was a big reveal that what we were going to make with it. And we didn't make anything like this. This would have been more fun. But, you can say, okay, now we have to find something blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we go through the whole produce aisle looking for something blue or looking for something orange or whatever. So I love that. It can be, they can be a part of the buying it. But I also love the idea of prepping the whole thing and saying, okay, when we put it together, it's a separate event. Right.
And that's so easy. You're going to be cutting the stuff anyway. So you cut it, bag it. And I know some people don't like to use the bags. I was telling Shannon earlier, at home, I typically use the silicone, reusable silicone Ziplocs. And I know that's not because we're trying to be environmentally conscious. We're trying to do things better. These freeze. You can wash these in the dishwasher. You can also put them in boiling water and let them, that's what I do. I don't, I have an apartment, so we don't have a dishwasher. So I put these in boiling water and let them clean. I clean them really well. But I like that you can put them in the freezer. There's all different brands. This one is called Stashers, and you can get these on Amazon. I think you can actually get packs of these now too at Costco. Costco has a great, a pack that has all different sizes. They have ones like this that actually stand up now, and they have gallon zipper ones. Yeah, they have gallon zipper ones, and this is an older version, but they have ones at the bottom is flat and it comes up, and you stand it and you just open it and fill them.
Because I always need gallon bags.
Oh yeah, and you could just put these in the dishwasher, or like I said, boil them. But these are amazing. I freeze everything in them. Actually, this is a big version. Gallon version is what I put all of my scraps in. I keep talking about that. I think I'm gonna have to do a video about the broth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so this is what I use. I do use, we try to be as conscious as we can.
Yes, sometimes I'm not good. I gotta confess, I didn't really know about these. I knew about the wax paper stuff that's fabric. And I don't know why, I just never am someplace where I see that.
I have another version of these. Unfortunately it's off to the side, but it's just like a white bag, and it has a long plastic thing that goes over the top that seals it. Those aren't my favorite because it's really hard to pull that piece over. I found these easier to manipulate, but they're great.
And I love if they sell them at Costco.
Yeah.
I'm not quite, I order from Amazon, but I'm not as good at ordering things online as I am at picking things up at Costco.
Yeah, Costco has, I just saw it, it was like a big pack and it was like $19. And these aren't cheap. These are a little bit expensive, but the reality is you're not going to be buying Ziplocs and you reuse them. Like reuse them, and I've been using this since pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And I've never had an issue with it.
Amazing.
So I do this in glass jars. I do a lot of stuff in that.
I do a lot of stuff in glass jars. Ask my husband. He's like,
do we need another glass jar?
Yeah. Ball jars. But I have antique ones that are blue, and he's like, enough with the ball jars.
I just made a broth out of all my stuff a couple weeks ago. Had some beautiful antique jars and thought, I'll freeze stuff in it. Did 10 big jars of broth, and I opened up my freezer the next morning, and I was like, why does it look like there's a muddy mess in there? And as the broth was freezing, it all broke the jars, about half of the jars, beautiful jars. But the good thing is it was already kind of frozen, so it was just like a little weepy, seepy in there. But and then I thought, oh, well, I'll just defrost it. I'm like, I can't, there's pieces of glass, so I lost half of my broth.
Yeah, and your antique jars. With ball jars, they make specific jars that are for freezing.
They're thicker, and they have, and the key is not to,
they don't have a shoulder on them either. They're straight up and down.
And not to fill them too full.
They call that the headspace.
Yes, the headspace. And I also have the lids. They're not the metal ones. They're a white plastic one.
Yep, absolutely critical. But I love those.
Little tidbit.
I love those. So we were talking a little bit about traditions. So you said what your Thanksgiving tradition is. What's your Christmas tradition?
Christmas tradition. I mean, so many things.
Right. What's the one that like you cannot? It's like not happening if it's not that tradition.
Everything about Christmas.
So you're like a Hallmark Christmas movie where there's a list and you got to check off all the things.
An internal list. I love Christmas Eve. We don't do the open a gift and then, some people do open a gift and it's PJs. We have been doing matching PJs, but I'm going to tell you, we bought a pair of matching PJs 3 years ago and we use the same ones. We don't buy new ones every year. And the dogs have them and it's great. We all here's our Christmas.
Dogs have matching PJs?
Of course they do. And so we all wear our matching PJs and, we sit around my mom's tree and some of us sit on the ground, some of us have little stools and we open the gifts and that's usually right first thing in the morning and then we have breakfast. Christmas Eve we do have a meal with family, usually making cookies. That's one of the things, decorating cookies. I love decorating cookies. Last year my mom and I decorated gingerbread houses, but we did it after Christmas. We had found some and we were like, and so it was kind of a pre-New Year's thing and we decorated gingerbread houses, and that was really, really fun. They have those pre-packaged ones now, and I've actually made a gluten-free, dairy-free gingerbread. I have a recipe. You can make gingerbread men, but I made a gingerbread house one year for Kobe. One time, because if someone wants that and would like that recipe or like to know how to do it, I can walk them through it. But it's a lot of work, and it was difficult because the cookie doesn't harden.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
It's just not as structurally sound.
Are there people who are eating their gingerbread houses? Like even when we ever bought a kit.
Traven raised his hand over there.
Traven's eating his gingerbread. Because we always would buy the kits and we would never eat them.
See, I've never bought the kits. I've always made them.
Oh.
But then, I like to pick the little things off and,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we would buy the kits with Jem and make them, but we made it like it was a kit, like it wasn't.
Traven, did you do the one where with milk carton and graham cracker cookies? Have you ever seen those?
Oh, no.
So when I was a kid, we took those little mini school milk cartons, and then we took graham crackers and you just frosted it to the sides and frosted it to the top, and then you decorated. I remember that's what school was for me. That was what. Did you ever? Oh,
no.
Did you?
Back in the olden days, we didn't have.
You didn't have graham crackers back then.
No, we had graham crackers.
You had to get milk the other.
Right. We had to walk both ways uphill to do it.
In the
too.
snow, barefoot.
In the snow, with potatoes in our shoes.
I've never heard that.
Oh, you
I
never
only heard
that?
barefoot.
Oh no, the thing that my
potatoes in
grandmother
our
used to say is that when they would go to school in the morning, their mom would have potatoes in the oven, right? And they would take the potatoes and stick them in their mittens on the way to school. And then when you got to school, you'd take your boots off and you would stick your baked potatoes in your boots while you were in class. And then for lunch, you would take the baked potatoes out, and that's what you would have for lunch. And they would keep your boots warm so that when you walked home, that your boots were supposedly warm. That was the whole
And then
thing.
you would eat your boot potatoes for lunch.
For lunch.
I love
For lunch,
that.
yes.
I mean, we're eating a turkey and a snowman,
Right,
so.
right. For us, for Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
we
what
have-
are your
We have
traditions?
weird traditions because my husband often works, and that's just life. And we don't get precious about that. I hear people go, "It's unconstitutional. You can't be working on Thanksgiving and Christmas," and I'm like, "That's our life."
Yeah. There are a
And-
lot of people that's their life.
Right, and that's just our life. So for us, and often it's right around my husband's birthday. So sometimes we've had to make a birthday cake and take it to his work to celebrate his birthday with him on Thanksgiving Day. But one of the things that Jem and I started doing on Thanksgiving Day is that in many cities, and especially here in Los Angeles, they have something called Gobble Gobble Give.
Oh, right.
So that's a thing where you sign up to bring either, they have people that bake turkeys, but we do the side dishes. So, and there's one that we do because we don't eat this anymore. Because we could. I have made it gluten-free and dairy-free before, but my mom had this dish that she would make that was called scallop corn. And really what it is corn pudding.
Oh, corn pudding. Have you seen Schmigadoon? Corn pudding, corn pudding.
Right, and that's
I
what-
learned corn pudding last year
Right.
because of the song.
And that's really what it is. It's corn pudding. But it's the most decadent, wonderful, warm, comforting thing ever. It's not quite cornbread. It's like a little bit loose, but it's got corn and cornbread in it and sour cream and onion and all the. It's really good. And it's warm, but you can eat it cold. It's pretty fabulous. And it's
Now, have you made that vegan?
I have.
Like, can you make it
I have.
dairy-free?
You can. It's just,
Not the same.
not necessarily, the thing that I want to eat, but you can. I have made it that way. But so what my son and I do, I get up on Thanksgiving morning and I start it, and then he'll come down and help me, and we have the parade on in the background.
Oh, yeah, the parade. That is, see, now you're saying the things that are my traditions. The parade
love
is
the
a
parade.
100%.
And we tape the parade because we're basically in the kitchen, but we tape the parade. And then, I have to stick the 2 ginormous trays of my mother's scalloped corn in the oven, and it takes an hour to bake. And during that time, we get ready and get the car all ready, because then we take the 2 enormous trays and we go to Gobble Gobble Give, and there are people standing there waiting for it that take it, and they have an assembly line inside where they scoop all the different things onto plates, they cover them with foil, and then there are other people there waiting to take things to feed the homeless.
Right.
So, and you can do it at any phase, and we always say that some year we're going to do the thing where we take the plates, and it's never really worked out for us for various and sundry reasons. And they don't say, okay, you have this street, and they say, take these plates and go find, and here in Los Angeles, you don't have to look far,
no.
you can find the homeless. And I always love that because I can't do everything, right? But I go to bed on the night of Thanksgiving knowing that there are people all over the city that got my mother's corn pudding in their belly, and that they were like, oh, this is good stuff, So that makes me happy, and it's something that we can do together that while we're waiting for my husband to come home from work. So that's
great.
That's one of our biggest traditions for Thanksgiving. It's much like we have the turkey and all that stuff, but it's much more about that now than it is about the food. And I must admit that we like Black Friday. That we do Black Friday sales. And we have gone to the store on Thanksgiving night before and participated in all of that. I have been there when it started to go south. Like there was one time at a Walmart that I was there, and Jem was probably 5, and the store was open, but they weren't going to release the Black Friday sale, and it was a huge pallet of video games that was covered in plastic, and there was an employee ready with scissors to break the plastic when it was like 11 o'clock, and there were people gathered, and I had Jem in a shopping cart ready to, take but then it got more and more people, and people started to shove, and then two guys started to shove each other, and I was the person who said, we are not going to be on the news tomorrow because you couldn't handle. I was like, we are going to behave like human beings.
Right.
My child is here. Set an example. I turn into the school marm thing. But most of the time at Black Friday sales, I've met some of the most wonderful people.
Because they're out there doing the same.
In line, and you can get great
one
deals.
year?
Yeah.
The 1 year, probably 12 years ago that I did Black Friday, we did it because we wanted a big 52-inch TV.
Yeah.
It was a third or a quarter of the price, and it was back when the TVs were $5,000.
Right.
We'd saved all year for it, and so we stood in line at 11 o'clock at night at Best Buy, and it was supposed to open at 4 or 5 in the morning, thinking we were going to be first. We were like 100th, and there were so many people. But people had tents and had pit fires. I was shocked, and that was their tradition. And some people were bringing food and huli chicken and stuff like that. I was like, this is a thing? People had chairs. I'm like, I don't have chairs. I don't have a blanket. How come I have none of this stuff? And I realized this isn't my thing, but also I thought it was so cool that that's people's tradition.
Yeah, and my husband is a bargain shopper, and he's good. I'm not good like he is, but he's good. He knows right where to go in the store to get the thing, get the deal. But I think back to a year when all Jem wanted, and he'd worked so hard, he wanted a computer that he could do VR on. It was like the hot new thing. He'd gone with me to Texas for the summer, and we toured around, and there was a place that they had the VR, and I tried it, and he was like, Mom, I love this, it's the future. And I could see that it was something that, but it was so much money. The computer, just to be able to play VR, then the VR thing was so expensive. So we set up a whole thing and said, here's what you need to do at school. Here's how the next few months have to go. And if you get this, then it wasn't even a Christmas gift. We were like, we will get this for you the week before Christmas. And he did everything. Like, there was no way that we weren't going to do it, but it was so much money. And when it came time to Black Friday, they had the computer, and it was for like 75% off. But you had to stand in line, you had to get the deal, and we were like, we're standing in line, we're going to get the deal. And I always have 2 sturdy lawn chairs in the back of my car, unless something is horribly awry and I've had to take them out. And the guy behind us in line started to feel faint because he got a little hot and whatever. And so, my husband went and got the chair, and we got, and then he called his son, and his son came over, and we hung out with them because we had to wait in line for probably 2 hours.
You're standing with these people for hours. It's like me and Disney parades or fireworks or whatever.
Right,
those
you get
things
to know them.
You do.
So there was one year when we got new phones at Target at midnight on Thanksgiving, and the guy who was in line behind me, we had to wait forever because they were setting up the phones and all this stuff. So probably from midnight to 2, we stood in line together, and his child had just been diagnosed with autism. And he said to me, I'm going to give you the name of, because I was telling him about the toy guide that we do, and he hooked me up with a company that makes great toys that we've featured many times in the guide.
Great.
So got to know. So we kind of like that, I have to say. And the pandemic, it's been different, because we've ordered things online. But for Christmas traditions, with us, it's a bunch of things. But the biggest thing, I think, is Christmas Eve. My mom always made oyster stew.
I've never heard of that.
It was the tradition in our family, and as kids, we all were like, bleh, oyster stew. She would make pies and things for dessert, but dinner was oyster stew and pickles. And I never
she made the pickles, right? We were talking about that.
But oyster stew, which is basically milk, butter, and oysters, and salt and pepper.
I've never.
It's like not an exciting thing at all.
Was it something that was a family tradition that she passed down? Okay.
Yes, from many generations.
Okay.
And but it's interesting because what we took from that, because we weren't doing milk, I'm allergic to milk, my son was allergic to milk, and when you cook other milks, it's not the best thing. But he loves oysters, and he loves smoked oysters. So Christmas Eve has become like a fish thing for us, because a lot of people do the tradition of the 7 fishes.
I grew up having an Italian feast. We had the homemade pasta. There were courses. There was the crab legs and the lobster legs and all of that stuff. And then we would have the homemade pasta, and then in the pasta sauce would be the sausage and the meat and all that stuff. But you went through it. The salad always came at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, that fish was, or those crab and that fish, that course was.
Love, 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 love. Love that. So it's a big thing, the oyster thing on Christmas Eve, and we always open one gift on Christmas Eve, and then we don't. There was one year when
Do you have specific gifts that you open, or just you get to choose?
I usually pick the gifts because I pick a game, and then we play a game on Christmas Eve, and we play games on Christmas Day, and then we laugh hysterically. I miss, though, I will say that when I was a kid, it was a big. I was one of 3 kids. There were a lot of people in the house. We always had neighbors over if we didn't have relatives over. It was a big thing with a lot of people. And my life is not that way anymore. It's a very small, it's usually the 3 of us.
Right.
And that's a different thing, but I love that our little family gets that time together and that we play games. And the older Jem has gotten, the more fun that has gotten.
We do that too. We do games as much as we can. My mom's usually working on a puzzle. We have musical instruments none of us can play, and so we just do a fake band, and like kazoo and the little bling bling bling, and Baby Yoda now Grogu sits on the piano, so we touch him and he goes, oh. And my mom has, not a tradition, but one of the things that she has is the little dogs that bark and the little toys that and she has a whole bunch of them on her fireplace. And so we go through, and it's just, it's dorky, but it's fun. And one of the traditions we do too is we always put cookies and milk out for Santa and carrots for the reindeer. And Kobe always writes Santa a letter the night before. And he leaves it there, and then it's just kind of we believe in our house, so it's nice.
I love that. I love that. And then, of course, once Christmas comes, I love the week. My favorite thing is the week between Christmas and New Year's, because all the rules go out the window.
Yep.
You eat when you want to, you sleep when you want to, you do what you want to, and we play games every night. And a lot of times I don't get dressed that week.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you a household that keeps your Christmas decorations up to a certain time, or do you take it down the next day, or what is it? Do you have for me, I'll let you answer, then I'll tell you my answer.
Well, I used to be one of those people that if I got around to taking the Christmas tree down in June, I was doing well.
Right.
But then I got very militant about it all has to come down on New Year's Day or the day before New Year's Day.
Really?
That it has to all be down. Now, in the last couple of years, I've been much kinder to myself and said, why don't you wait and see how you feel? But it really needs to be down by the 6th of January, or it's an indication that mentally I'm not doing well.
Gotcha. Right, I understand.
Yeah, what about you?
It stays until the 6th at least. I do the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
So it has to, I also decorate really early. Sometimes little things start going away. But for me, as long as I can drag it out, not gonna lie, I have had a Valentine's tree before, where stuff came down and I just wanted the tree up still, and so I had the tree with lights. And I do have a small fake artificial tree that has lights on it. And what I do is, as I get the Christmas cards go, and that goes on the dining room table. The Christmas cards go on that. I also have little elves that hold Christmas cards, but the tree's kind of fun because they just go on, and it's a way to decorate the tree with all the cards. And I know, I think that's something we need to start doing again. Getting those Christmas cards and even just a personal letter. And I know it's a lot of work, and it is, stamps are money and cards are money, but there's something about getting a Christmas card that someone remembered you and they took the time. And listen, even if it's from, I don't know what, Minted or one of those things where you just input the stuff, they still thought to click your button or check your name off or whatever it is. I got a handwritten card, several of them last year, that people wrote them. Their kids did art, different things. And I love to take pictures of families, and a lot of people send me their cards because the pictures I've taken of them, I'm not professional, I just do it because I'm crazy. And a lot of people, their Christmas cards, it's the pictures that I've taken, and I always feel like, oh, I have a family memory with them, and I love seeing it. But I love seeing those Christmas cards. And then what I do every year is I put the Christmas cards. I used to have this snowman that he had little pouches, and the cards would go in there, but then you couldn't see him through the year. But I go through those, and something that my grandmother did, my paternal grandmother did when I was probably 20, is she took she kept Christmas cards. She had a box, and she kept every Christmas card and every letter and everything she ever did. And one year, for about a year, she went through them and organized them. And she would, whatever cards you sent for 10, 20 years, 30 years, she put those together, put them in an envelope, wrote a handwritten note, and send those to the people. And so many back in the day when people would write those letters or personal letters or even memories of the kids or a photo they sent, and people said, you know, it's a little different now with social media and I mean, I have 70,000 pictures on my phone.
Right.
But to see those moments, I still have some of those. She would keep little, you know, when I draw something at a restaurant, or she would do, I said, I don't even remember this. That's what, and I said, I love you, Grandma Rachel.
Right.
And so she sent that because she kept all of these memories in a box. And all these people, I mean, there were people that had been gone, people who lost kids, and family members, husbands, wives, and to have those memories again was so cool. So I've kind of done that.
That's great.
And just kept those, and whether I send them or not, and sometimes I'll go through them and be like, nope. No, I didn't say that.
Well, can I tell you, I'm in the complete opposite camp. That I stopped maybe 12 years ago and said, every year I would beat myself up because I'm not capable of sending Christmas cards.
Yeah.
I can't, like the number of steps and to get it done and to get it organized and I can't do it.
Yeah.
I literally can't do it. And I just said, I'm not going to do it. And I decided to make a video Christmas card every year that then I would send to people, but then I just would post it and put the link on Facebook and go, here's our video Christmas card. And I would put a whole thing about, you know, we saved this many trees by doing this. And I think people thought I was anti-Christmas cards, so we don't get Christmas cards anymore. 'Cause people go, oh, you know, she's militant about that. And I wasn't. I
couldn't do it.
The executive function thing to go through, I would beat myself up. And sometimes I would I would buy the Christmas cards, I would do all the writing, whatever. I couldn't
get them to the post office,
And then, I mean, don't even get my niece started talking about me going to the post office.
Oh, you and I are the same with that. We
can't
both
do
have a post office phobia.
Totally.
Or, like, I will have boxes sitting at my front door, or even I have packing stuff in my car. But because a lady yelled at me once, there is a good post office somewhere near that, but it's really, really.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And so sometimes I would send Christmas cards in June, in July, because that's when I had the time to do it. But even then, it was so much anxiety and angst for me that I just said, I'm never sending a Christmas card again.
Yeah.
And I enjoy putting together and what I love is that then our yearly Christmas cards have been sort of like a record for us about, you know, what was going on that year. And I really enjoy doing that, but I think last year I didn't even get that done.
Yeah. And listen, that's the thing. I've sent my cards at I said I had a Thanksgiving. I'm not a Thanksgiving, Valentine's card. I've had it, you know, spring, Easter, and it was Christmas, and I'm like, hey, this is here. I found cards in my Christmas stuff from the year before. We've all had that happen. I get it. Don't pressure yourself. That's the thing. If you can do an e-card, or you can just do a Facebook post.
Oh.
Because that's the least thing you have to worry about. I know I just love getting cards because it's just a moment, and that moment that, like, even if we're not together, and I know that someone remembered our family in that time. And some people, I don't hear anything from them except for that Christmas card.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love the e-card thing though too, and I love, I think it's American greeting cards that you can purchase. I have a friend who does this every year. She purchases the membership for the year. And I think it was last year, the year before, she sent me a birthday card, and it was Donny Osmond singing to me. It looks like Cameo, and what he does is he just records a bunch of names.
Yeah.
I watched it probably 108 times, rolled around on the floor laughing and just, you know, like peeing because and my husband, he was like, what are you watching? I was like, Donny Osmond is singing to me, and
he's like, Merry Christmas, Shannon.
And
Merry Christmas,
exactly,
Shannon,
but
right?
it flowed, like you'd never know that that's what he was doing, but he's like, Shannon, you're fabulous, Shannon, and he's doing this whole song and dance stuff, and I was like, no, I feel special right now.
Life is
I
good.
feel sparkly. Donny Osmond just sang to me.
I love that.
It's a really, really fabulous thing. So I think all those things, anytime you can show somebody that you care about them, whichever way that you do it.
Yes.
I have no idea, Traven, how much time we have left because I'm not keeping track of the time. So, like, hold fingers up at some point. But we were going to talk, did you say one? There's 1 minute left? Oh, you're kidding. Okay, at some point, next month, we're going to talk about the fact that we're parents of adults.
Yeah.
And that it's its own thing.
I think next month's a perfect month to do it.
Yeah, during December.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What are you thankful for this month?
Well,
Because it is Thanksgiving. So
I'm going to start with, because you're closest to me, that I'm thankful for our friendship, which has meant so much to me. And I even said to Jim when we got into the car last night to leave, it's pouring rain. We got in the car to leave at Trader Joe's, and I said, oh my gosh, I love that Rachel and I always find a reason to laugh.
Oh, I mean,
and like belly laugh, like hysterical, like almost topple into the frozen food section. But of course, I'm grateful for Traven. I don't know what I would have done without Traven. Starting, with this new studio, could not have done anything close to this without Traven. I'm thankful for my husband and my kid and for our collective health. I'm thankful for all of our viewers who've hung with us through a very weird, interesting transition year. Yeah. I'm grateful for all the people that watch and all of the people on the spectrum who've helped us launch Stories from the Spectrum. I'm certainly grateful for Dr. Granpichet, because we could not have done any of this without her either. I'm grateful for your kid, who's fabulous. We didn't really get to talk about the All Ghouls Gala, and he won an award there, but he's a wonderful addition in my life. And for all the people in the community, that my life is so rich with people from the autism community on the spectrum and the people who love them. And I never would have known any of those people had this journey not taken me and my son and my husband where it took us. So that's part of what I'm thankful for. What are you thankful for?
I mean, I can't with that. We're out. Bye, guys. No. Well, I am thankful for you, of course, and I'm thankful for Autism Live and for ACT and for everything, and my son getting the award. It was a Lending Your Voice award, and it was just really neat for him and for him to feel special and elevated in a way, because sometimes with our kiddos, especially because there's no physical attributes because of their disability or their different ability, it can be really hard because there aren't things that are indicators just walking by them. And so I think for him that was really, really special. So that I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for Christmas. Guys.
Duh.
And I'm thankful for my whole family.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm obviously Disney and you. Everything that Shannon said, plus Disney and Christmas, and no, but it's a thankful time of year. But I'm thankful for your turkey. I mean, look at this. Look at this turkey.
I'm thankful. I tried the hummus, and the hummus was great. So amazing. We hope that you guys enjoyed this. If there are things that you want us to try, there's something you want us to make and you want to see how Rachel makes it and I fluff it.
Yes, let's do that. Send us suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. So write in and tell us.
Wait, I just realized one of the turkey's feet was up at his
I didn't put them back.
His shoulder.
I took them, I did the pap smear and I didn't put them back. So they're sticking out of his, yes.
He's just doing a little whoop.
He's kicking up his feet. It's symbolic.
I love it.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming in and doing all this. Has been great fun.
So much fun.
And we hope that all of you will join us tomorrow for Stories from the Spectrum. We have a new one that's coming up, I hope a week from now. We'll see, fingers crossed. Because it takes a while to, coordinate everything, because folks make us the video and then we have to smush them together. But we will see you live back in the studio on Monday. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. See you next time.